Hello, my nerdlings. If you're new here, my name is Nikki. Welcome to my channel where we get nerdy. And today we are going to go over April's wrap up. So, in the month of April, I read 13 books with an average rating of 4.3 stars, a total number of pages of 5,209 pages, and the money I earned is $19.50. For every book I read, I get $1.50 at the end of the year. So, I'm going to start with the 2 library books, and then I will go on to my 2 audiobooks, and then I'll discuss all the physical books. Sound good? So the first library book I read, I don't have on me because I returned it to the library, but I do have a copy of it because I bought it, and that is Under the Oak Tree by Soo-ji Kim. This is following Lady Maximilian, who is the daughter of a very powerful duke that was married off to a knight. What's his name? Riften, Sir Riften, who is not, at the time of their marriage, he was not as in high of stature. So that's why this marriage was important for him and for the duke, because his daughter has a stutter and a stammer. So he wanted to get his daughter married off as fast as possible. He married her off, and then Sir Riften went away to war for 3 years and has come back now as a very decorated officer, or a decorated knight, whatever you want to call them. And while he was gone, the king actually offered his princess, his daughter, to Sir Riften, and so there's this belief of, is she going to now be up a creek, Lady Maximilian, because of this offer made by the king and whatnot. And it's the story of Riften coming home and how everything between them develops from there, because he quite literally left the morning after their wedding. That's it. They got married and he was gone. So this I ended up rating 5 stars. Absolutely loved this story. I read the comic book version from the library. I picked it up. I thought the art was beautiful. Didn't make the connection. Like, I have the novel version at home. So I read this, loved it. Cannot wait for volume 2 to come out in September. And then the next library book I read was Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. I only read this book because I wanted to read her other 2 in this series, The Au Pair Affair and Dream Girl Drama. I just haven't gotten to them yet. In this, we are following Wells Whitaker, who is the PGA bad boy. He is known to be problematic, right? He drinks, he gets into fights, he swears. He's just a naughty guy. And his number 1 fan, Josephine Doyle. Quite literally, every time the PGA Tour is in Florida, she attends with like a sign that says Wells Bell. She absolutely loves this man. Well, one day he's having a bad game and gets, like, all the fans leave. Like, he drops out of the tournament. She's trying to make him feel better by talking about how good of a player he is and whatnot. And he rips her poster and completely, like, just destroys her. He ends up having a moment where his conscience is like, you shouldn't have done that. You may be an asshole, but you're not a disrespectful asshole, especially to women. And then he finds out where she's from, has been hit by a hurricane, and he ends up concerned for her. So he goes to where she's from and proposes that she work as his caddy for the rest of the PGA Tour, so that she can make repairs to her family's pro shop. Because he wants to just give her money for it, and she's like, no, I need to work for it. And he's like, all right, fine, you be my caddy. And it's their romance from there. I honestly was expecting to hate this because I hate golf. I find golf really, really boring. But the romance between these two, fantastic. I rated this a 4.5, mainly because it was predictable. I knew where we were going to have disagreements and the third act breakup and all of that in the story. It was, you foresaw it, right? So there's my 2 library reads. Now, my 2 audiobook reads. First one was Deviant King by Rena Kent. This is technically book 1 in the Royal Elite because the first one, Levi and Astrid's story, is 0. And then this is Aiden. Oh, what's Aiden's wife's name? Elsa. This is Aiden and Elsa's story, the beginning of it, at least. There's 3 books that are Aiden and Elsa. So this is their first book. We are introduced to Elsa. Her parents have died in a house fire. She does not remember the events that led up to the house fire. She does not remember her childhood at all. And she went to live with her aunt and uncle at the age of 7, ended up having heart surgery at some point for some reason, and is now, like, her family, she has made it well known she wants to go to Cambridge for college. And so they put her in this royal elite private school, or really, so like these are the kids that they are really well off financially, but academically it's a very rigorous school, so that's why she's going there. And first day she walks in, she sees Aiden King, and he looks at her and says, "I'm going to destroy you." And she has no clue why. She doesn't know this man. She knows him, she just don't recognize him because of the amnesia. So the first book was Deviant King. And then the second audiobook I listened to this month was Steel King, which is the book following this, still following Astrid, Elsa, and Aiden, just further on in their story. I have 1 book left for their story. I haven't picked it up because I was trying to read something else for the Rock of Ages reading challenge, but I'm struggling with it. So I haven't gone any further. I need to read a book set on a tropical island in the next 4 days, and I have tried 3 different books, and none of them are working for me. So I'm about ready to just wave my white flag and surrender. So, Deviant King and Steel Princess were the next 2 books I read. Deviant King, I gave a 4, and Steel Princess, I gave a 4. They were longer than they need to be, like astronomically longer than they need to be. She could take out a bunch of scenes and have it just as impactful. She could put this trilogy into 1 book and it would be just fine. So those are my audiobooks that I read. On to the physical books I read. So I read The Hound of Baskervilles by Arthur Conan Doyle. This is following Sherlock Holmes and John Watson, investigating why the Baskerville family has been cursed and they all keep dying. I rated this a 3-star. Definitely solidified the idea that this type of mystery is not my cup of tea. I was rather bored. It's only 178 pages, but it felt like it was 700. Then after that, we read, or amongst that, we have The Strawberry Patch Pancake House. This is following, what is his name? Archer and Iris. Archer is a single dad. He did not know he was a dad until the mother of his child had passed away, and they contacted him saying, "Hey, you have a kid, and now that kid needs a parent." And so he flies to this small town in Boston, just outside of Boston. It's in Massachusetts. He flies to this small town to try and build this relationship with this daughter that he never knew about. but he also has this nanny that he hires to help with his daughter. Cue Iris. This is a single dad nanny romance. Super cute, nice, cozy, short romance. Small town. It has all the vibes. We rated that one a 4.5. Again, if there was parts where we felt like we were, just doing donuts. Instead of having a conversation and progressing the plot, it felt like we were spinning our tires and we're stuck in this one spot for a bit of the book. We also read Body Check by Elle Kennedy. I rated this a 3-star. Not Elle Kennedy's best work, in my opinion, but it is her first book, so I'm giving her, a benefit in that sense. We are following Hayden Houston, who she's a fine arts professor, and her dad's a hockey coach. Her dad's going through a divorce. She flies across country to support her dad in said divorce and has a one-night stand with one of her dad's hockey players. But Brody Croft does the one thing that you shouldn't do with a one-night stand, and that's catch feelings. So it's their story of their romance, but then also like navigating her father's divorce, and also some game fixing scandal going on within his team and amongst his teammates. Stay. Okay. We also read Broken Harbor by Catherine Cowles. I rated this a 5. We are following Cope Colson, and I can't remember Sutton's last name. But Cope is a professional hockey player and is the sibling to Shep and Rhodes from the previous books. Sutton is a single mom. She owns a bakery, and her son has got bit by the hockey bug. And she signs her son up for a hockey camp, and who happens to be helping with said hockey camp but Cope. And it is the romance between her and Cope from there. And of course, there are some demons lurking in their closet that the both of them need to get through in order for this relationship to thrive. Catherine Cowles manages to write a romance with a love story. It is a romance suspense type thing. It's a fantastic story. I love this series, and I cannot wait to finish it. I can't wait for the next books to come out. I'm glad that the next book is on May's TBR so that I can continue with the Colson tribe. Let's see. We also read, I got my little journal here. We also read The Fake Out by Stephanie Archer. Again, 5-star. This, we are following Hazel Hartley, who is a physiotherapist for the Vancouver Storm, and Rory, I want to say Miller. Rory Miller. Rory Miller was tutored by Hazel all through high school, and they stayed friends-ish. They tolerate each other. He flirts with her like no frickin' tomorrow, and she just tolerates it. Because she knows he's harmless, right? But then her ex gets traded to the Vancouver team, and she is her ex's physiotherapist. And when her ex tries to make moves on her, she's like, I'm seeing Rory, right? To try and get him to leave her the hell alone. And it goes from there. This is a fake dating romance, second chance romance, maybe. I kind of would think they've known each other for a really long time. And Rory is ecstatic because he's had the hots for Hazel ever since she tutored him in high school. So it's adorable. I love Stephanie Archer's writing. I cannot wait for book 3 and book 4. I have book 3, it's just not on a TBR yet. Book 4 is coming out soon, and I'm so excited. Why aren't these? There we go. Okay. And then we also read Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage, rated this a 5-star. In this, we are following Camille Ashwood and Dusty Tucker. Dusty Tucker and Camille were high school sweethearts, and they had a messy breakup. Don't know what happened, but they had a messy breakup. And then years later, Cam gets left at the altar by the man that her parents want her to marry, not the man she necessarily wants to marry. And who happens to be there to save her but Dusty? And it's them rekindling their romance. And Cam is a single mom to Dusty's boss's daughter. Yeah. Small town cowboy romance. It's all you need to know. It is adorable. Loved this. I believe this is technically the last one in Rebel Blue Ranch, and that makes me really, really sad. I was not ready to leave Rebel Blue. Not in the slightest. So. And then we have 3 more books to cover, and they're all part of the same series. And that is, hold on, let me grab them. I had to put them way over here so I had room. Zodiac Academy, The Awakening, Ruthless Fae, and The Reckoning. So, the first 3 books of Zodiac Academy we read this month. Okay? In this, we are following the Vega twins, Darcy and Tori. They are the heirs to the Fae Kingdom. But they do not know that. They were raised in the human realm. But while they were raised in the human realm and there was technically no king and queen, like their parents were dead, like there's these 4 heirs, these 4 boys that their family was running everything while the Vega twins were presumed dead. And these girls show up to this school to learn how to manipulate their magic and how to use their magic and all that stuff. And the boys are like, oh no, we ain't giving up what's rightfully ours. Like, you can't take care of the Fae people when you weren't raised with the Fae people. And the girls don't want that. The girls just want their inheritance and to go. They don't want to be in control. So it's a bully paranormal romance, but then there's like some other stuff going on. There's a lot of political intrigue. Book 1, not the best. I was not a fan. Book 1, I rated it a 3. Book 2, I rated it a 4. And book 5, I rated a 5-star. So it gets progressively better. I really enjoyed the series. It got to the point where I posted on the different Facebook groups I belong to, like, what's a reading order you recommend? And this is the order they recommended. It's a screenshot of, I'm assuming, like a TikTok video. And so I need to get the other books so that I can continue with the story. Did I follow this reading order particularly, like to the T? No. I read books 1, 2, and 3, and then now I'm going to jump into the Dark Fae, the Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac series, and then I'm going to go, you see it. I haven't read The Awakening Told by the Boys or the story of the bully, the making of the bully, Academy Bully or whatever. I haven't read those. I just read those 3. So I'll read them at some point. I have a lovely checklist I made, actually. Here's my digital copy. that I actually shared with some friends, but I printed it because I like the satisfaction of checking it off. So this is the ones I own, not the ones I've read. The ones I've read I actually tacked up here on the end of my bookshelf. So these are the ones I own. And I also printed Irina Kent or reading verse. These are, again, the ones I own. The ones I've read I got tacked up here. So those are the books that I read this past month. Like the video if you did, comment down below some of the books you've read this month. Hit the subscribe button if you would like to see more, and until next time, you are loved and you are valid.